A cold London morning welcomed Ali and Zara as they stepped out of the van parked in front of the old Victorian townhouse they had dreamed of owning for years. The street was quiet, tall trees on both sides, brown leaves on the pavement, mist floating lightly in the air. Their two children, Hassan and Amina, stood beside them holding small backpacks, staring at the house with big curious eyes. The townhouse looked ancient but noble, with a faded red door, cracked steps, and tall windows that held memories of decades gone by. For a long moment, the family simply stood there, absorbing the reality that this was truly their new home. Ali opened the door with a soft click, and a faint smell of old wood, dust, and forgotten stories greeted them. The hallway was narrow, the wallpaper peeling like old skin, the floorboards creaking as if waking from a long sleep. Sunlight filtered through stained glass panels near the door, painting soft patterns across the walls. Zara stepped inside gently, running her fingers over the wooden banister worn smooth by years of hands sliding across it. She imagined the families who once lived here, children running up these same stairs, couples whispering dreams in these same rooms, laughter echoing through the corridors. Hassan and Amina burst into excitement, racing from room to room, discovering everything with breathless joy. The living room was large and cold but beautiful in its own way. Tall windows let in a calming grey light from the cloudy sky outside. An old fireplace sat in the center, its stones chipped but full of character. Zara imagined winter nights here, soft blankets, hot tea, and the warmth of burning logs. Ali, with a tired but content smile, set down a box labeled fragile and said, "We finally made it, Zara, our own home, in our own city." There was pride in his voice, but also relief. Years of saving, planning, compromising, and dreaming had led them to this moment. They spent the first hour just exploring. The kitchen was old-fashioned, with yellowish tiles and a rusty sink but plenty of space. The back door opened into a wild garden, overgrown bushes, broken pots, but a hidden beauty waiting to be uncovered. Zara imagined planting roses and mint, maybe setting a small bench under the cherry tree that leaned slightly to the left. Upstairs, the bedrooms were dusty but full of charm. The master bedroom had a large bay window overlooking the street, and Zara instantly saw herself standing there on rainy mornings, watching raindrops race down the glass. The kids claimed their rooms with shouts of victory, already arguing about where to put toys. Finally, they climbed the narrow ladder to the attic. The attic was dim, but sunlight pierced through a tiny window, illuminating floating dust particles like magic. Old boxes lay stacked in the corner with words barely visible, memories, letters, books. Seeing this, Ali felt a strange sense of connection, like the house had been waiting for someone to discover its forgotten heart. By the time evening arrived, the house was buzzing with movement. Boxes in every corner, kids laughing as they tried to unpack toys, Zara trying to find towels, Ali searching for the kettle. When the rain began outside, soft, rhythmic, comforting, they all gathered in the living room and sat on the floor, surrounded by half-open boxes. Ali ordered pizza, and when it arrived, they ate with their hands, laughing at how messy everything was. The warm golden glow from the fireplace filled the room once they managed to light it. Hassan snuggled close to Zara, Amina fell asleep on Ali's lap, and for a moment the whole world felt still. Zara looked at the cracked walls, dusty shelves, and old carpets, but her heart felt full. Not because the house was perfect, but because this was the beginning. A place where new memories would form, where their family would grow, where love would deepen. Ali wrapped an arm around her shoulders and whispered, "This house has a soul. And now, we're part of its story." Zara smiled. It was the kind of smile that only comes when the heart is warm and peaceful. And just like that, their new life began, not with perfection, but with love, hope, and the promise of building something beautiful together. The next morning, sunlight slipped through the dusty curtains and filled the old townhouse with a soft golden glow. It was the couple's first full day in their new home. Ali woke up before everyone else, standing quietly in the middle of the living room. The house felt cold but alive. Every corner whispered stories, every floorboard creaked like it was stretching after years of stillness. Ali rubbed his hands together, took a deep breath, and whispered to himself, "Charlo, Naya Safar Shuru." Zara soon joined him, her hair tied in a messy bun, still wrapped in a blanket. She looked around with a sleepy smile. "We have so much to do," she said gently. "Too much," Ali laughed, taking her hand, "but we'll do it together." They started with the living room. Zara chose a warm beige paint, hoping it would bring softness into the old space. Ali laid down old newspaper sheets on the floor while Zara opened the paint cans, the rich smell immediately filling the air. The room felt like a blank canvas. As Zara painted the first long stroke on the wall, she felt something shift inside her. It was the feeling of creating, of building something with her own hands. Hassan and Amina joined them shortly after, wearing oversized shirts to keep their clothes clean, although Zara knew they would still end up covered in paint. As expected, within minutes, Amina had a streak of paint on her cheek, and Hassan had painted a crooked smiley face on the newspaper. Their laughter echoed through the room, bouncing off the old walls, making the house feel more like home. While Zara worked on the walls, Ali decided to fix the leaking kitchen sink. What started as a simple repair turned into a mini disaster. The pipe broke loose, water shot up like a fountain, and Ali slipped as he tried to cover it with his hand. Zara heard him shout, "Zara! Tissue! No, towel! No, bucket! Something!" She rushed into the kitchen, bursting into laughter at the sight of Ali soaking wet, hair dripping, socks floating in a puddle of water. Even the kids laughed so hard they had tears in their eyes. Ali tried to look serious but ended up laughing too, splashing water at Zara playfully. After the chaos, they all sat on the kitchen floor, exhausted but laughing. Somehow, moments like these, silly, messy, imperfect, became the heart of their new home. The next few days were filled with such little adventures. They removed the old wallpaper, revealing even older wallpaper underneath. Zara found a small, hand-carved wooden bird hidden behind a shelf, likely left behind by someone decades ago. They explored the basement, discovering 2 old trunks filled with black and white photographs, embroidered handkerchiefs, and a diary belonging to a woman named Emma, who lived in the house in the 1950s. Zara spent an entire evening reading Emma's diary by the fireplace while Ali put together furniture. The diary was full of tender entries about love, marriage, struggles, and small joys. One line struck Zara deeply: "A home grows warm when love is constant, even on the coldest days." She closed the diary, looked at Ali, the man she had shared so many years with, and felt her heart swell. She slowly walked to him, sat beside him, and rested her head on his shoulder. He kissed the top of her head gently. "Everything okay?" he asked softly. "Everything perfect," she whispered, her voice touched with emotion. Their renovation journey wasn't just about fixing the house, it started fixing things inside them too. The next morning, Ali surprised Zara by repainting the hallway in her favorite off-white shade. "You did all this?" she asked, eyes wide. "I wanted you to wake up smiling," he said simply. Zara hugged him tightly, and for a moment, everything felt still, warm, and complete. In the evenings, after the kids slept, they would sit on the living room floor drinking tea, talking about memories. They spoke about their early days in Manchester, the tiny apartment, long bus rides, late-night noodles, and endless dreams. They talked softly, laughed softly, and sometimes fell asleep leaning on each other amid paint cans and unpacked boxes. One night, Zara paused mid-conversation. She looked at Ali carefully. His hands were rough from work, his shirt stained with paint, his eyes tired, but to her, he looked more handsome, more real, more hers than ever before. "Ali," she whispered, touching his cheek, "I love building life with you." He held her hand and replied, "And I love that no matter how hard life gets, tum mir sath ho." The house, slowly transforming day by day, reflected the changes inside their hearts. Walls softened with new colors, floors cleaned, kitchen brightened, laughter echoing in every corner. And as the physical house improved, so did their bond, stronger, warmer, deeper. By the end of the second week, they stood together in the living room, admiring the freshly painted walls, the polished fireplace, and the small family photos Zara had placed above the mantel. The room looked nothing like the dusty, forgotten space they had walked into on the first day. Ali wrapped his arms around her from behind and whispered, "We're doing it, Zara. Hum dono mil car, apna gar bana rohi hain." Zara leaned into him with a peaceful smile, feeling the truth of his words. They weren't just restoring a house. They were rebuilding their world, one loving moment at a time. The third week in the new townhouse began with a crisp London morning. Cold air seeped through the window gaps, but the house smelled of fresh paint and new beginnings. Zara woke early and climbed up to the attic to start clearing old boxes. The attic was dim, the window small, but the sunlight that entered felt soft and magical. Dust floated in golden air like tiny stars suspended in time. As she opened the first old wooden trunk, she found faded postcards, brittle letters tied with a silky ribbon, little ceramic toys, and a music box carved delicately with roses. She lifted it gently and turned the key. A soft, nostalgic melody filled the attic, a tune so tender it made her heart ache with warmth. Ali came up quietly behind her, pausing at the sight of Zara sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by a mountain of memories. "What's all this?" he asked softly. "Memories," she whispered. "Someone left pieces of their life here." Ali sat next to her, opening a postcard with neat handwriting, "To my dearest Emma. I miss your laughter in this house." He exhaled slowly. They loved deeply. You can feel it. For the next hour, the couple read through journal entries and old letters written by Emma and her husband Arthur. The words were delicate, full of longing, hope, struggles, and devotion. Zara felt as if the house itself was opening its heart to them. "This home has seen love before," she said softly. "Maybe that's why it feels alive." Ali nodded. "And now it's our turn to fill it with new memories." They decided then and there to create their own memory corner, a small space in the attic dedicated to their journey. Zara placed their wedding photo on a wooden shelf, Ali added a tiny wooden toy Hassan made in school, and the kids later brought drawings of the family smiling in front of the new home. It was simple, but it felt sacred. The renovation continued, slow and meaningful. Zara spent afternoons arranging the living room, choosing soft cushions, warm lamps, and earthy tones that made the old Victorian walls feel gentle. Ali worked tirelessly in the garden. The roses were wild, the soil hard, but Ali treated it like a quiet mission. He trimmed branches, cleaned old pots, planted new seeds. Every shovel of earth felt symbolic, like planting the future. The kids often joined them. On one Saturday, while painting the fence together, Amina smeared white paint on Hassan's shirt. Hassan chased her around the garden until both kids were rolling on the grass laughing. Zara watched them with a soft smile while Ali captured the moment on his phone. Simple, everyday happiness, this was the kind of love story they had always wanted to live. At night, after putting the children to sleep, Ali and Zara sat near the fireplace. The room glowed with amber light, and the warmth wrapped around them like a blanket. They talked for hours, about the early days of their marriage, their first arguments, the dreams they still hadn't fulfilled. They talked softly, laughed gently, and shared secrets they had forgotten they even held. One night, Zara looked at Ali with an expression full of affection. "You still look at me the same way you looked at me on our wedding day," she said quietly. Ali took her hand, kissed her knuckles slowly, and whispered, "Because Mary Zindaji, tum ajab hi mir liye wahi ho, Mary Jr., Mary Sukoon." Zara felt her heart flutter like it did years ago. Through these quiet conversations, their love grew deeper, not dramatic, not cinematic, but real. The kind that forms slowly, like soft sunlight warming cold rooms. By the end of part 3, the house was halfway transformed. And so were they. Just when everything seemed to flow perfectly, the house threw its biggest challenge. It started with a loud thud in the hallway. Ali rushed to check and found a section of the ceiling cracked, dust falling like powder. Before he could react, a larger portion collapsed, scattering debris across the wooden floor. The kids screamed in shock. Zara grabbed them tightly, heart pounding. The hallway looked destroyed. Ali inspected the damage and realized the plaster was old, moisture had seeped in, and the entire section was unstable. The boiler was malfunctioning too, water colder than ice. And the old electrical wiring flickered unpredictably every few minutes. For the first time since moving in, the house felt heavy, almost hostile. That evening, the couple sat in silence. Zara felt overwhelmed. "Maybe we made a mistake buying this place," she said quietly, eyes glistening. Ali wanted to reassure her, but his own heart felt tight. Money was running low. Repairs would cost more. Stress filled the air like fog. The tension lingered for 2 days. The kids sensed the sadness. Meals were quiet. Even the house felt silent. But on the third evening, as Zara was cleaning the broken hallway, she found one of Emma's old letters stuck between the cracks. The letter read, "A home breathes again when hearts refuse to give up. Love is the strength that holds broken walls together." Zara froze. Tears welled up in her eyes. She held the letter to her chest and went to Ali. She handed him the paper. "Read this," she whispered. As Ali read, something softened in his expression. He looked at Zara and said, "We got scared. But humdono kabha manti hain." Zara nodded, wiping her tears. "Let's fix this together." Like everything else. The next morning, teamwork came alive. Ali contacted repair workers, compared prices, and selected the most reliable crew. Zara reorganized the budget, cutting unnecessary expenses, planning smartly, staying strong even when it felt uncomfortable. The kids helped clean the mess, placing toys aside and cheering their parents on. Slowly, the house started healing. The new ceiling was installed piece by piece. Electricians repaired the wiring. The boiler hummed back to life. Fresh paint covered the scars. During these long days, Ali and Zara rediscovered how powerful they were as a team. They communicated more, held each other more, hugged more. They found comfort in each other during tiring nights and celebrated small victories with warm cups of tea. One evening, after the repair workers left, Ali took Zara's hand as soft light filled the hallway. "This house tried to test us," he whispered with a gentle smile, "Parham or strong ho ke nikle." Zara smiled and rested her forehead against his. "Because we faced it together." And then, as if reclaiming the space with love, they danced. Slow, soft, to no music at all. Just the sound of their own breathing and the warm hum of a newly repaired home. Months passed. Spring arrived quietly, brushing the city with soft sunlight and gentle breezes. The townhouse, once cold and forgotten, now looked reborn. The fresh paint gleamed, the carpets were new, the windows clear, the rooms bright. It wasn't just renovated, it was transformed. The garden was Ali's masterpiece. Roses bloomed in clusters, lavender swayed in the breeze, and a small wooden bench sat beneath the cherry tree. Zara's favorite space became the kitchen, where morning light turned everything gold. The kids often played in the attic, now turned into a cozy reading and drawing room. One peaceful morning, Ali woke early and prepared breakfast, pancakes, strawberries, warm tea. He set the table in the garden under the cherry tree, petals falling like soft pink snow. When Zara stepped outside, still in her robe, her breath caught in her throat. "Ali, this is beautiful." Ali smiled, pulling out a chair for her. "I wanted our first morning in the finished home to be special." They ate slowly, talking about the journey, how the house broke, how they fixed it, how much they grew together. The kids joined them, laughing, running around the garden, filling the air with life. Later, Ali and Zara walked through the house together. Every room held a story. The living room, paint fights and late-night talks. The kitchen, disasters and laughter. The hallway, broken but rebuilt stronger. The attic, memories old and new woven together. The garden, or where hope grew with every seed. As they walked, Ali wrapped his arm around Zara and whispered, "Hum eni surf gar nahi banaya, hum eni apni kahani ko jubara lika." Zara's eyes filled with soft tears. "This house feels like our heartbeat now." That evening, they invited neighbors for a small housewarming. the living room filled with warm conversations, the smell of home-cooked food, and the sound of laughter. The kids proudly gave tours of the house they helped build. During the dinner, Ali stood up with a quiet smile. Everyone turned to him. Holding Zara's hand, he said, "This house is not perfect. And neither are we. But every wall, every corner, every room has a piece of our love in it. We've learned that home isn't something you buy, it's something you build. Together." Zara squeezed his hand, her heart glowing. The story ends with the whole family sitting close together in the living room, fireplace crackling gently, warm light dancing on their faces. Hassan leans on Zara's shoulder, Amina curls up in Ali's lap. Outside, London's evening settles softly, but inside the house, it is warm, peaceful, full of love. Their journey wasn't just about renovating a building. It was about rediscovering each other. And now, their house wasn't just full of memories. It was full of them.